Well, just days after a bombshell report showed the Obama administration had freed thousands of illegal immigrants with serious criminal convictions back into their communities, we're now getting hints that the president could take executive action to change a controversial program that is meant to identify and remove immigrants who pose a threat to public safety in their communities. Here's the new Secretary of Homeland Security on this. Listen.
The program's become very controversial, and I told a group of sheriffs and chiefs that I met with a couple of days ago that I thought we needed a fresh start.
Mark Thiessen, a former speechwriter for President George W. Bush and an American Enterprise Institute fellow. Mark, good evening. Good to have you here as always.
Good evening, Martha. How are you?
I'm good. You know, it's interesting because this is a program that the president had ramped up and had removed a lot of people using this program and took credit, and said, we've done more deportations than any prior president. But now they've decided that for some reason this program is a bad idea. What would that be?
I'm not sure. They're saying that what they're going to do, or they're contemplating doing, is raising the restrictions. A program called Secure Communities, and what it is that federal officials, if local police detain somebody in another crime and their fingerprints show up in a federal database of people who have immigration offenses, they can be detained by immigration authorities and considered for deportation. What they're doing now is they're saying you have to be actually convicted, not booked for a crime in order for that to happen. Well, first of all, I don't know why conviction is such a standard for them, since they just released 36,000 people who were convicted of serious crimes.
We have a breakdown of those people. Let's put that up on the screen, because this release of 36,000 people included these people: 193 homicide convictions, 426 sexual assault convictions were among those who were released into the general public, 16,000 plus drunk and drugged driving convictions of folks that have been released. It makes no sense. I mean, why would they be doing this? I know that you feel that there's a political underpinning here. What do you think it is?
Sure. Well, they're releasing murderers and kidnappers and all the rest. And look, reasonable people can disagree about immigration reform. Reasonable people can disagree about a path to citizenship. But I think we should all be able to agree that if you're an illegal immigrant who commits a serious crime, the only path should be shown is a path out of the country. And I think what they're trying to do here is they're trying to use this as pressure on Congress to pass immigration reform, that the president's going to go out and we're going to do it unilaterally if Congress doesn't act. The problem with that is the reason that what's holding up immigration reform in Congress is the president's lawlessness and unilateral action. The fact that he's not enforcing the laws that he's already passed. And the members of Congress feel if there's a deal on immigration that involves enforcement and amnesty of some kind, the enforcement will never happen because Obama just follows the laws he feels like.
I don't know. I mean, either they're hoping that this will urge something to happen or perhaps urge something not to happen, because this is going to paint John Boehner into a difficult position, because his critics on his own side of the fence are going to say, why would we agree to anything on immigration reform with Democrats? Because this is the kind of stuff they want to do. Makes it harder for John Boehner to do it.
It makes it much harder for him to do it. And look, I mean, you've got an administration that is not enforcing Obamacare, that's passing waivers when it comes to things like welfare reform, and they've already basically unilaterally enforced the DREAM Act that Congress didn't agree to pass. They've deferred deportation for 1.7 million people who came to the country under 16. Now, that may or may not be a good idea, but Congress hasn't passed the DREAM Act. The president doesn't have the authority to do that. He has to follow the laws. And now we're talking about not deporting criminals. How is that going to help the cause of immigration reform? If you're for immigration reform, you should be for the Secure Communities program. We should all agree that people who commit crimes should be kicked out of the country, period.
Mark, thank you very much. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Martha.